Hey Summit Daily viewers, this is Antonio Olivero, Sports and Outdoors Editor with the Summit Daily News. We're coming at you today with another edition of Bootprints Hiking Guide, this time around from the Gold Hill Trailhead between Frisco and Breckenridge. We're going to do a little Gold Hill-Ophir mountain loop this morning. I was hoping to get up high, maybe graze Torreys here in early September, but with all the snow we got earlier this week, just not looking good. So a little bit probably too muddy and lingering snow up high, especially on those high 14ers. So instead we're gonna do something a little bit further down low, easily accessible off Highway 9 and a nice loop hopefully of Gold Hill and the Ophir Mountain trail system area. So just to give you an idea of the map here, we're gonna start off right about here. Here at the Gold Hill Trailhead. We're gonna hike up the Gold Hill Trail number 79, which is also, I believe, a portion of the Continental Divide National Scenic Trail. Just continue on up, and we're gonna top out here on Gold Hill, and then shortly after descending a little bit, we're gonna make a hard right, continue on the Ophir Mountain Trail system. Meandering switchbacks have continued up through the clear cutting that the U.S. Forest Service has done a couple times through the years to mitigate fire hazard. And also pine beetle hazard. Yeah, we've gained about 330 feet so far. As you can see, the trail, which is impossible to lose, at least in the summer. I'd imagine it's pretty difficult to lose in the winter as well. There's probably a lot of traffic on here, snowshoers and whatnot. But yeah, just gentle, kind of ascending all the way through here. Just about 10,300 feet. And I'd say a little over an hour and a little under 3 miles into our hike, 1,100 feet of elevation gain. We are topping out on the trail here on Gold Hill. The summit, if you can call it that, of sorts, on Gold Hill is here at right, just past this blowdown. Just a couple steps later, beautiful expansive views of the 10-mile range. We're about 3.3 miles into the hike as the Gold Hill Trail meets up again with the Ophir Mountain Road. The Gold Hill Trail continues straight ahead through this road, and it ultimately descends toward Peaks Trail and the Miners Creek Road area. But we're gonna hang a right here on Ophir Mountain Road. As we hiked along Ophir Mountain Road just a short mile later, it's this upright tree limb with that orange trail marker that's gonna denote where we're gonna break over to the left to continue on our loop hike, breaking away from the road. Buffalo Mountain right behind it. You can see the road, how it continues at right. We are just over 4 miles into our hike. We've reached this junction where the trail continues straight ahead, and we're going to continue straight ahead. There's this kind of loose dirt road of sorts, not quite Ophir Mountain Road, but if we were to hang a right here, we would regain Ophir Mountain Road down there to the right. Just under 4.3 miles into our hike, we reach this faint junction of sorts. According to the U.S. Forest Service Ophir Mountain Trail System map, this is a trail dubbed Faith that breaks off at right. We're going to come back to this to continue our loop, but I guess I've decided to continue on to the left here and see if we can somehow get up Ophir Mountain. On neither the Nat Geographic map or the U.S. Forest Service map is there a trail going up to the summit of Ophir Mountain. But with just 100 feet of, or not 100, a few hundred feet of elevation gain to get up there, figure why not, let's give it a try. Just under 4.6 miles into our hike, we've continued at right a little bit after we reached that junction with the Faith Trail along this wider, seems to be maybe an old mountain road or something, kind of a wider path through the trees here. And we've come to this kind of clear cut or just open space here as the Gifford Pinchot Trail, the name of this kind of wider trail, continues that right. But here, I think I'm just gonna try to get up to the top of Ophir Mountain via this direction, because that is Ophir straight ahead. So going to find my way through here and hopefully get up there in a minute and then turn around and get back down to the trailhead. Well, would you look at that, just a short while later, I've reached what appears to be a social trail, not on any maps, going up toward Ophir Mountain. So I'm gonna hike along there at least for a little bit and see where that leads. Hopefully it gets us up a little bit higher. I think it will, as I just hike through this kind of clear cut here back from where I just left you guys, which is kind of straight ahead there. where the trees kind of open up into a clearing there. Okay, we're just under 4.9 and a little over 1,300 feet of elevation gain into our hike. Great vantage point of this avalanche slide from the March 2018 avalanche cycle. And hiking up, it looks like there's a wooden post sticking up there at right, which hopefully, as we continue to hike along this trail, will lead us up to the summit of Ophir Mountain, which should be just up there. Looks like these posts are here for a reason, so we'll break off the trail and try to get the top of Ophir Mountain here via these wooden posts that you should be able to see in your screen. Kind of a faint trail here that we're hiking up along. Doesn't seem like many people hike up here, so hopefully we'll see at the top of Ophir Mountain shortly as we follow these wooden posts, which you should be able to see kind of through the trees up ahead. So 5.1 miles and about 1,500 feet of elevation gain into our hike. We are at the summit, I suppose you could say, of Ophir Mountain. There's a couple of rock piles that are up here. I'm not sure if that's just from old campsites or what, or somebody set this up, but yeah, just amazing 360-degree views up here as I'll pan around. I'd say it's worth the trek over, even if you have to kind of hike off trail a little bit through this clear cutting to get these 360-degree views, as you can see. And the cool thing about coming up here as opposed to Gold Hill is, because we're a little bit closer to Frisco, you get these really awesome views of Lake Dillon and Dillon Reservoir. So super cool peak. Even if there isn't a designated trail coming up here, you can see some of the runs going over to Keystone in that direction toward the east. Pan back around, just great views of Olivero. So to get up here, I kind of just hiked through this clear cut. The footing was fine. I mean, I'd say be careful, but it wasn't that bad. I kind of just hiked straight up to the highest point and weren't any false summits where I came from, which was in this direction from a social trail down here. Again, like I was saying, I was kind of following the wooden posts I was seeing, and then once those stopped, I kind of just hiked up toward the summit. So I think I'm going to head back this way, kind of toward the south in the direction of where I broke off from the Gifford Pinchot Trail to get back toward, I believe the trail was Faith. Okay, a few moments of hiking later, we've regained this wide Gifford Pinchot Trail through the trees. Pretty much just hiked as straight as I could from the top of Ophir Mountain down through the clear cut all the way back here. You know, footing was fine. Had to, you know, skirt a couple things and not walk completely in a straight line, but pretty much just walk straight down from that top of that mountain. A few moments later, as you can see peaks 1 and 2 there, we continue along the wide trail, kind of with the loose sand weeds are sticking up out of, and right here at left is the Faith Trail. So we're gonna hang a left here, and this should start our descent, I suppose, back to the Gold Hill Trailhead. Just a short way into what I'm pretty certain is this Faith Trail, we come to a junction of sorts. One single track going this way, one single track going left. We're gonna continue at right. This is the general direction where we are headed, so I hope that we are going in the right direction. Got some downed trees. My advice to you when hiking the Ophir Mountain Trail system is to be extra careful and cognizant on some of these social trails and lesser used trails because of all the clear cutting kind of in this area, especially if there's snow on the ground. I'm being sure to you know, glance down at my topographic map and app and my compass, and you know, just make sure I'm heading in the right direction, and just be extra careful. You know, with all, like I said, all the clear cutting here, you know, you can get turned around and kind of lose exactly where you are. So in that case, you definitely want to have a printed out map ready to go. You want to kind of have a solid knowledge of how to use the compass. And, you know, if possible, although you never want to really rely on this, it's always nice to have a downloaded topographic app with a map that can show kind of exactly where your coordinates are and even which direction you're kind of looking at and pointed towards. So yeah, that's been helpful over the last little bit of this hike. So we're about 6.5 miles into our hike since I last left you. A little bit of an adventure, just lost the trail and really had to consult the compass and the map and the app. But we've refound a trail right now, and I'm beginning to think that where we saw that cairn and we continued at right, we should have continued at left, and the trail would have been more obvious, like this one that we just refound as we cross over this trickling creek. So believe we're back on the Faith Trail. We're going to continue along, and just feel good to be back on the trail. But it wasn't too hard, even though I lost the trail, to just kind of orient myself and point myself in the direction of Ophir Mountain Road, which worst case scenario, I was just going to bushwhack through the woods until I got to Ophir Mountain Road, but it seems like we're in a good spot here, so check back in a bit. 7 miles and a little over 3 hours into our hike. Since I last left you guys and we refound that trail, that must have been the Faith Trail, because it quickly went from single track to this kind of wider double track, and I just kept an eye on my topographic app and map, and we were headed exactly in the direction we wanted to head, and pretty much realized we were on the right trail again, and that was to meet up with Ophir Mountain Road right here. So Ophir Mountain Road, which we kind of met up with a few times on the hike up Gold Hill. From here we're going to continue downhill toward the left, and we've had plenty of route finding adventure for one day, so just going to continue on Ophir Mountain Road. We're now 7.65 miles into our loop hike. The Ophir Mountain Road reaches this kind of turnaround spot of points where it switches back left to continue down Ophir Mountain Road. This is what we just hiked down in terms of Ophir Mountain Road. But here, looking at the map and my topographic app, it's clear that the Gold Hill Trail is just a hop, skip, and a jump over this way. I'm gonna find this little trail here, and just in a moment, we'll give it a little run here, we should regain the Gold Hill Trail, which is the single track well-marked trail that we hiked up on, and bada bing, bada boom, here we are. Okay, so let's break it down by segment here on this Gold Hill Ophir impromptu loop we just hiked today. All the way on this Gold Hill Trail, as you top out on Gold Hill and continue to the junction with kind of the road there, where the trail continues over to peaks, all the way up through there. Real easy hiking, impossible to lose the trail. Recommended in winter, snowshoeing. The single track should be hard to lose. Great hike for bringing an out-of-towner or visitor. The signage with the next to the Continental Divide Trail is great. No real problems there. As we broke off, I guess going toward Frisco, toward Ophir Mountain to continue our loop, that's when the trail signage, basically we lost it completely. For the start of it, the trail was pretty easy to continue on, really had no issues with it. But starting there, I'd say, if there's snow and if you're not as used to route finding and not as familiar with the terrain in the area, maybe turn around at the top of Gold Hill and call it a day there in the winter. Or if you're not really looking to, route find if you need to. As we continued up to Ophir Mountain, it was great getting to the top of that second kind of hill peak. We went off trail and got to the top of it. So that was awesome, and I highly recommend it on a clear day where there's, you're not worried about darkness setting in. You're not worried about kind of spending some time to get up there and to find your way along the route. As we came back down at that one spot that I talked about before, where there's kind of that rock pile, I wonder if we would have continued left, if the trail would have just been super clear and we would have never really lost it. I took you guys through on the trail I went through on, which I thought was a trail, and it led us in the right direction, and but definitely had to bushwhack there and was lost there for a second, but just hiking in the right direction with the different maps and apps that I had, was able to refine the trail, and yeah, it was great. It was good. The one last thing I will say is, make sure if you're going to try this loop out, or you're going to try to hike some kind of a loop here on the Ophir Mountain Trail system, you get this kind of printed out, this US Forest Service. If you Google it, US Forest Service Ophir Mountain Trail System, you should be able to find an online PDF document of the different trails around here. It denotes the kind of side social trails that I hiked along that aren't on a National Geographic map. Super crucial. Make sure you print it out, and I think that'll really help. So just be careful on some of these trails if there's snow, and if you don't really know your way around, maybe just stick to this initial Gold Hill portion.